Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and yes, we're looking at the AKM again, and today we're going to be fitting probably the best and most inexpensive part among some other parts that you can buy for this AKM. We have to get the inner barrel out. I didn't have the parts ready when we put this thing together, so it's a bit of a pain, but you know, it is what it is. But what I want to see is, obviously we can take this off, we can take the top rail off. Can I remove maybe the trigger pack and pull the barrel out? I don't know if there's going to be enough space, or I'm going to have to strip the whole front end off, so we'll see. So let's get to pulling this thing apart, and then we can start fitting these upgrade parts. So the most important part, even if you're leaving the standard inner barrel and hop in there, is this tiny little piece of plastic. It doesn't cost much, it's only about £5. And you might be saying, well, why does that tiny bit of plastic cost £5? Well, you've got to think about the design and everything that went into this and the testing. And not many parts you can get nowadays that cost £5 will do what this part does. So, to be honest, I think for what it achieves, if it fixes an issue, it's worth more than £5. But, you know, these Bavtak nubs can be found through Bavtak himself, or you can now head to jaegerprecision.co.uk and get them direct from myself. So I don't stock anything that's complete garbage. I only stock these because they are good and they work. So let's find some tools and get started. Right, so 4mm, and with, obviously I did sort of portray that this is a pain to get in and out, but what the best way I've come across removing this pin is remove one screw and then use the screw that's still left in there to tap the pin out. So we're going to need a little tappy tap. There we go. Gets a little bit easier the more I do it. It's a pain, but as soon as you remove that, you can just sort of push the front end off. So, and it's not horrendous. You're not going to have to pull this, your bolt and everything out, you know, countless times. So it's not like you're going to be doing this kind of modification on the field. So it isn't. I'd rather have the front end the way it is and as rigid as it is, than having like a quick way of pulling the gun apart. So I don't know if we're going to be able to pull this off with the bolt in. So I can't get the top cover off, or I can actually. How did that come off? Oh, it's just because it's lifted slightly. So lift slightly, get the top cover off. As I say, I couldn't get it on last time. Let's pull the bits and pieces out of the way. Is this, can we lift this off, or do we need to drop the front sight post out? There was a comment in the previous video about not taking the iron sight off and doing like a pulling this up and turning it, but honestly the iron sight, the real one, is so easy to take off. I don't know why you wouldn't do it that way. Are we gonna have to pull the front post off? No. Right, there we go, that's off. So I thought maybe we could drop the trigger pack out and then this could pull out from the barrel. But I don't think that's going to be the case. We obviously can't take that off because it's secured to this. So we'd need to drop that off and then pull the two bolts out. And I think, yeah, we can pop the trigger pack out. I can't remember if anything else. I think it's actually going to get stuck on those splines, isn't it? Or is it? I'm trying to be too clever here, so yeah, let's just pop it out as usual. Let's take the front end off. And yeah, normally you'd wait for all the bits to turn up. Obviously I wanted to get these videos out, so I was like, right, let's just get the front end fitted because I wanted to see what it was like. Normally, as an end user, if I wasn't making a video on it, I'd just get all the bits in ahead of time and then I'd pull the thing apart, so you're doing it all in one go. So there we go, that pulls out there. tiny little barrel. Got an O-ring going to pop off there. This latch, I want to be careful. Let's remove it so we don't damage it. And then it looks like just the one screw, and then there's one under the arm there. So let's get a precision tool. Going to need a littler one, I think. Yep. Go down a size. This is a pH 0. Will that fit? Yep. There we go. We could take the wheel off. If you were just fitting this nub, I don't think you'd have to take it all the way apart. You could pull this out, fit the nub in, and if you're using the standard hop and barrel, happy days. And the way that this system works, I'm sorry about the lighting, is it sits just on the arm like that. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. It just bridges the gap. It enables you to put more pressure on, because these do struggle with hop pressure, especially when using heavier BBs. So I don't use anything that's less than a 0.3 in any gun. Maybe some pistols I'll go down to a 2.5 if they struggle a little bit. And there we go. There is the standard hop and barrel. We'll take that O-ring off, because we'll put that on the new one if it wants to come off. There we go. Standard hop and barrel. I've thought about, because I do a lot of builds, I've thought about things like this. This is a brand new part. Obviously the gun's have never been skirmished. I've fired a couple of shots, you know, in and around the house. Putting these stuff, making it available. Hot rubbers, barrels. I'm not sure. You guys let me know. I was thinking about putting a section on the website and just labeling it like project parts or something, where, you know, we tend to pull a lot of parts out the guns anyway. But they tend to get put in a box and forgotten about. So here's the barrel. You can see it is about 40-50 mil longer. And we want the hot rubber. Pairing this up with a 9 ball. This is a good economy upgrade for barrels. With the lilac stuff, it works really well. You don't want to go and splurge on something like my lapped barrels. These barrels are pretty good. So we'll pop that on there. Make that up to the rubber. Make sure it's seated, which it doesn't want to do at the moment. Come on. Seat that on there. That can then get added to the hop unit. Hop unit's a very simple design. Nice and easy to take apart and put together, which is what we like. We'll loosely put that screw in. And then we'll clock these down together. Whenever you're doing hot parts, anything that's alignment important, especially like hop and barrels, I always suggest, if it's something like this, loosely put your screws in. It's like how you torque wheels on a car. You wouldn't go round in a circle one after the other. You do opposites. So, you know, you sort of loosely tighten them up, and then when you snug them, just do it bit by bit. It just means the casing's being pulled like that, rather than you snugging that one down and then it pulls the casing at an angle. So that's all fitted in there. We then take the Bavtac nub. I'll just double check which way this goes round. And this is where these come in really useful, because I ain't getting my sausage fingers in there. Which way around? Let's get you in there. Come on, sit in place. Like so. We can put this piece in. make sure it adds pressure, which it does. Everything's sat in place. We'll pop the wheel back on. Which does have an O-ring on the back side. Pop this on there. Again, using a pH0 screwdriver. Just snug that down a little bit. Test it spins, which it does. Hop off. And then hop on. Nice load of pressure in there. Just check it's aligned, which it is. Well, so that's on. Not really sure. They put the numbers on there, but when it's in the gun, you're not going to really see that, are you? So the alignment's there. So 1 would be here. So we'll put like maybe 3 on there, just so we've got enough to hold the BB in place. We'll put the O-ring on the barrel, like that. We put the bigger O-ring on the hop unit, like that. We've got this little piece which you deactivate to dry fire. Just pop that on there. So the way this works is you pull it up and it latches on like that to dry fire. If not, it just sits down there below like that. So that can go into the barrel. Slide this into place, being careful not to catch anything. Let me know if you've liked this series so far on the AKM build. Also let me know, you know, what project gun should we do next? I'm always looking for new project guns. I have been trying to get, you know, one of the original PTS Masadas for the past 12 months. Not the sport line one, the pro line. But everyone I can find, either somebody wants a ridiculous amount of money for it, which they're just not worth. I mean, yeah, they're discontinued, but they're not worth new price. I also want one unmodified. But, you know, I keep my options open all the time. I obviously do like messing around with gas stuff as well now, so that's always a thing. I think that there was when I was messing around with the m-lok. So this sits in like so. And I tried to put the grip there and the screw hit that bracket. So if you are wanting to fit m-lok into this slot here, which is the first slot forward from the back of the rail, you would have to channel that just to remove the screw, or just knock the screw length down. But yeah, that's why I moved it back slightly. 3mm Allen key, get these ones in. Remember, loose. Don't always snug it down. You want everything to align properly, so snug that one up the other side. We'll snug this one up, flip it over, bit of torque on it. There we go. While we're doing this, I'll just pop the trigger pack back in, because we haven't had to, that was an unsuccessful attempt at making this job quicker. Because there's nothing actually holding this hop unit in, unless there's something on the inside that I'm not seeing. So it would have been nice if you pop that out and you could just pull the barrel out, but, you know, it's okay. We've got the job done in the end. I do like the way this trigger pack comes out. It makes it so easy to work on. Line this up here. Can't remember how I'll put this in now. How did I get you in last time? Did I pull the trigger? There we go. Right, superb. Before we put everything else on, we should probably test this. See what it's running at. We're going to have to pull this apart anyway and find out if there's a solution to reduce the power if it's needed. So we'll put that in. Put the spring in. And we'll put the dust cover on. Come on. Which is a bit more of a challenge with that heftier spring. I suppose we should test this out, shouldn't we? So let's do a quick test of this. I've only got 2s to hand at the moment, so let's just do a quick test on a 2. I know we won't be using that. I'll save it for a future test demonstration if we have to change any parts to drop it. Set to 0.2s. Put around in a safe direction. So averaged about 360. That is probably due to the slightly longer barrel, which is what we expected. It's not too much of a rise, to be honest. 360 for a, you know, an upgrade barrel that's slightly longer. That's not too bad. But that is how to install your barrel and hot grade parts. Obviously installing the BavTac nub as well. I'm going to get this out somewhere soon. A couple of opportunities have presented themselves, getting out and testing this thing at range and see what it's like, which we'll do. So thanks for tuning into this video. Not super long today, but this is how you do what I just said. See you in the next one. And from me and Bench, have a good day.